I gave up on the football team, getting knocked on the ass wasn't my thing. Coach Jones cussing my name, tooting that whistle. I had a lot more time after school, chasing girls at the swimming pool. Daddy was home from work, he'd take me fishing. We'd hook up the boat to the old blue Jimmy, fill the cooler with beer and viennas, hit that 2-lane up around Black Cat Ridge. Follow that sun through the Texas pines, the Big Johns in the evening time, just across that Trinity River Bridge. And we'd listen to the songs from the radio station on Highway 59. Past the Wool Steakhouse and the Waterberg stand, sitting on the left-hand side. We'd fish till dark and pull in the lines, get home around supper time, while Waylon and Willie sang one more time. From that radio station on Highway 59. I took Lynn to see Billy Jack in my '69 Pontiac, Saturday night at the Starlight Drive-In show. Never saw how the movie went, I couldn't keep my hands to myself. She gave me a dirty look and said, take me home. So we listened to the songs from the radio station on Highway 59. She didn't look too happy on the ride back home, but she must have had a change of mind. She scooted over close by my side. We made out by the driveway light while Waylon and Willie sang one more time. From that radio station on Highway 59. I'll play it some. And the plot thickens at a ranch house south of Sugar Land. Phi Delta Theta and my brother Stan, Colorado Kool-Aid and college girls gone swimming. I got so drunk I laid down in the yard. I woke up to spinning stars. All the way back home my head was out the window. But I can hear them songs from the radio station on Highway 59, with my head held over the shoulder of the road on the East Tex Freeway Drive. I was cussing and counting them exit signs, wondering every mile am I gonna die, while Freddie Fender sang wasted days and wasted nights. From that radio station on Highway 59. Oh, John. That's Mr. Johnny Curtis. That's right. I wish I had a time machine. I'd drive back there in my dreams, down that 2-lane road that takes me home, and listen to the songs from the radio station on Highway 59. Past the Wool Steakhouse and the Waterberg stand, sitting on the left-hand side. We'd fish till dark and pull in the lines, get home around supper time, while Waylon and Willie sang one more time. From that radio station on Highway 59. I miss some old times on Highway 59.
Hello, everybody. This is Monica Brinkman, and welcome to On the Brink, part of It Matters Radio. And I will be your host today. Gosh, I see a gentleman right here wearing the most beautiful blue shirt and holding the most beautiful blue guitar. And I'm so very excited to introduce you to Randy Moore. And it's Moore. Randy, welcome to the show. It's so nice to have you here.
It's good to be here. We're finally making this work.
I know. We want to tell you a quick story, don't we?
Sure.
We had tried this twice before, and I don't know how many of you have Skype, but we record via Skype, and they decided to do an upgrade. Well, the upgrade just ruined every bit of recording equipment that we had. But Randy, being the wonderful person he is, he shrugged it off. He was wonderful about it. And here you are today with us in person.
Yes, I will never be obsolete when it comes to manners.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, manners, it means so much to others. And I know that every time someone is nice enough to thank me or write to me, I am so appreciative of it.
Of
And I
course,
think most people are.
of course. You're basically people are telling you that they like what you do, and you like what you do, and you go, you know what? Thanks a lot, because I'm glad I'm not the only one who likes what I do.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Now, I want to discuss with you today quite a bit. And to tell you the truth, folks, we could probably have 40 hours of tape on Randy Moore, and it wouldn't be enough. He's had such a career and still has one, which it changes all the time. I want you to tell us something, though, that I read, and I'll tell you why I brought it up after you let us know.
Okay.
I understand, okay, your father was in the service, correct?
Yes, he's an Air Force pilot.
And your mom was pregnant.
Yes.
At least she thought she was pregnant, and she went to the doctor to confirm
Right.
this.
Right.
And what did the doctor tell her?
Well, these were the military Air Force doctors, and they told her, they said, well, no, you're not really pregnant, but you have a tumor, and it has to be removed immediately. And so my dad pretty much thought that that was bunco, as they say in the military. And so
Yeah.
he put my mom in a car and drove to Memphis, Tennessee to his personal physician. And this was from Abilene, Texas. And he examined my mom and he said, you don't have a tumor, you're pregnant. So whenever medical science wants to brag about how great they are, my dad would always point at me and say, well, if you think they're so great, I want you to look at a 35-year-old tumor sitting there with a guitar in his hands.
You know something, and Randy, I have to share this with you because my whole life I have not met someone who has had that experience before they were born,
Hmm.
because I had the exact same thing, except it wasn't military. My
Right.
mother had gone to a doctor and they told her I was a tumor
Yeah.
also.
There
And
you
she
go.
told them no. So I guess, you know, gosh, all these years I finally ran into someone else who had that experience.
We're two tumors separated at birth, aren't we? So,
That is it. That is it. It's great.
wow. Okay. Well, I guess that's the only. Maybe that's a couple of the only good things that's ever come out of non-cancerous cells.
Yeah. That's so funny. Randy, I want to talk a little bit way back when, because I was quite interested in what happened the first time you went on stage. And I believe that was when you were quite young and in attending school.
Yes. Well, I used to sit around the lunch table and sing Jackson 5 songs and Osmond songs with my buddies. And I was an artist. I like to paint and draw and everything. But I noticed that girls paid more attention to me if I was singing at the lunch table. So we were going to get some instruments and start to play music so we could accompany ourselves. And I told my mom, I said, yes, we're all going to get instruments and be a band. And she goes, oh, great. She says, what are you going to play? I said, well, I'm going to play the drums. She says, you're not going to play the drums. You're going to play the guitar like Elvis Presley. So here I am with my guitar, and I'm, basically in junior high, and I step out on this stage. It's a junior high talent show. And I launch into this Loudon Wainwright III song called Dead Skunk in the Middle of the Road, and it brought the house down. Of course, I'm in a small town, so anybody who can sing any 5 notes correctly is going to just kill them. So I just killed them. And I came in, I think I came in second place. I think there was a girl in the contest who had a bird that could talk or something. She had taught it.
Bird that could talk.
So anyway, long and short of it is, once I saw how people were reacting the way I was playing and how happy they seemed to be, I was like, hey, I could do this.
Yeah.
This seems like it'd be something fun to do. And so it just got a little bit more serious as the years went along. I think my parents were very forgiving and very supportive of me doing this, and that's the only reason I'm here today, because I really love my folks, and I really wouldn't have wanted to do something that they would have been totally resisting of.
Yeah.
So they got behind me, and my dad's goal was for me to play banjo, so he ended up buying me a 5-string banjo a couple of years later, and I learned how to play it for him. So to him, I had done everything I needed to do at that point.
After you learn banjo. Hey, banjo is great though. There's times that there is nothing else that's going to work in that particular part of a song than a banjo.
Yeah. Oh, but that's the happiest instrument in the world. So
it is.
And it's the only American instrument that there is too.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's the only instrument that has originated here in the United States, and it originated, as part of the early folk music that came here from the Scots and the Irish and stuff like that. And the banjo was first built here. That sound it's the sound of America.
Yeah, I guess it is, isn't it? I guess it is when we look at it that way. Now, you have traveled extensively to other countries throughout the United States. You've been to Nashville, but there was one person, I don't know that many remember him, and I always wanted to meet him. And you'll think it's crazy when I tell you who. Let me see if I can remember his name. I think it was Dallas Frazier or Frazier.
Yeah.
He did Alley Oop and.
Yeah. He started his music career started out in California there, and he came from Oklahoma. His family came from Oklahoma, and they came in the Dust Bowl years. So as a kid, he and his family were kind of shunned and looked down upon. But he learned how to play music and sing and write songs and perform, and that kind of gained him some acceptance. And so he pushed himself in that area. And a guy named Ferlin Husky helped him sort of get discovered and put it on TV at an early age. And Dallas started out early, and rightfully so, because even his early work really is really good, and it's cool, and it's almost, today they'd call you a prodigy if you were that young and you were doing that well.
It's amazing, and I always wanted to meet him and hear him in person. And gosh,
you'd love him. I tell people all the time, you can take all the hit records away, you can take all the performances away, you can take all the copyrights and the awards away, and what you have left is you have a really sweet human being in Dallas Frazier. He doesn't need all that to shine, and that's what I really like about him. So
yeah, that's
to me, I like people like that. I like to be around people like that can influence me with their personality and with what's inside them. I don't care what they do with their career. Anybody can make anything up, and if somebody pays enough money, it can become famous, and then everybody forget it a week later.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was going to talk about that. People don't understand that enough.
Right.
And that's why I think people need to look at indie music. Your music, for example, it's outstanding. And you have made a name for yourself.
Sure.
Especially within your genre. But not everybody can do that, and some are so much more talented than the ones that they're backing through the record companies and such.
Right. Well, that's always been, and it's more prevalent today than it has been before. And the entertainment business, fortunately and unfortunately, is always changing anyway. So nobody really actually gets to be the emperor forever. It always changes. The best thing about it is if you can deliver a song or deliver something that makes people happy with music or with what you do, you have that. Nobody can take that away from you. Now, if you don't really have that, certainly with enough money, somebody can generate something that makes it seem like that you have it. But at the end of the day, I tell people all the time. They say, "Well, why is it that this person is famous and they're doing so well and they're not all that good?" I just look at them and say, that's probably in God's plan for them. They probably need to be in this place. I would say whatever it is that they're doing, this is what has brought them closer to appreciating God's work for them. I said, I don't need that. I don't need to be famous in order to appreciate how much God loves me and how lucky and how fortunate I am in this world. I already know it. You know,
Wow.
if something happens for my songs and my music and people love it, Monica, that's all gravy. You know, I already have the meat on the
You
plate.
know, Randy, I connected with you right away because you are like this.
Well,
I
that's
just
what I
knew it.
believe. I believe.
I The thing is success. You know, what is success? It's you're going after your passion in life. I always call it your passion in life, but it's something you just love to do. You don't, I mean, if you could, you wouldn't have to get paid for it, except you have to survive because you
That's
love it.
yeah.
And you appreciate that. No matter what happened, you knew that you got to do what your passion was in life, and what a gift that is, isn't it?
Well, you just at some point everybody has to realize that they're a human being, and you're gonna have times where you're not really gonna appreciate what's going on around you. You're not really gonna appreciate what you have or who you are. That's okay, as long as you realize that you know that road is still in front of you, and you can
Yeah.
still keep going on it. And that next road sign and that next turn is going to bring something that's going to like make you go, you know what? I'm glad I'm me. Dadgummit, you know. And you'll look back on the day before yesterday when you said, boy, what am I living for? Why am I doing this? You're going to look back and laugh, and you're going to go, but it'll happen again.
Yes.
Your life is not made up of your successes. Your life is made up of your failures. You are who you are through your trials and your tribulations and your failures.
Oh
If it
my
was
gosh.
all happy and balloons and clowns and birthday cake, forget it. You'd have no personality. There'd be no depth to you whatsoever, and you wouldn't be a useful human being to other folks, around you. They go, "Oh yeah, Monica's so happy all the time. It's weird, isn't it? What's going on?" Doesn't she ever have anything that we can relate to? Because we have it kind of tough.
Yeah.
You
No,
know.
actually, no, absolutely, absolutely.
So we're
I've always
we're
looked,
the sum.
people say, oh, I always call it their Mary Hartman stories. They've had
Right,
such a hard life, and this and this and this happened. I wish people would take those experiences in their lives and
right.
learn from them
Well, don't
because,
dwell. I say don't dwell on unhappiness, and I say really don't dwell on happiness, because happiness, the word happiness comes from the word happen. When things happen, the
Mhm.
ness comes out of it. Forget about that. Base your living in kind of having joy on the inside, and whatever happens, happens. I
Mhm.
mean, heck, you can lose your patience, you can keep your patience, whatever. Tomorrow's going to be another day, as they always say. So I would tell people, I always would encourage people to, this is what you should do. There's a birthday, there's a Christmas, there's a Thanksgiving, there's a this, there's a that, there's an
Mhm.
anniversary, there's a this or that. You know what? Don't let one day define you. Don't ever let one day define you. You get up and you do what you can to define every day. You define every day. Don't let the day define you. It doesn't work, because
Right?
that's where the sort of the happiness trap comes in. Boy, if that would have happened on my birthday, I would have been happy. It's like, forget that.
How do they even know that they would? They don't. Or the other way, these people that wait their whole life for what we used to say, the train to come in.
Right.
It's like,
It's not. I mean, things fall in people's laps for a
mhm.
reason. People. Why did that person get so lucky? Why is it that somebody is such a good person, but so many bad things happen to them?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I mean, I got to tell you, the book's been written for that person, so they're turning the pages, and if they're getting through it, more power to them.
That's right.
I've had to
That's right.
turn my pages too. I don't like it a lot of times, but I'll
I
do it.
know.
You know,
But we'll never get to that next chapter if we don't go through those pages, will we?
you know what? You do what you can to make it work, and a lot of times it looks like you're making it up. And by God, make it up if you have to.
I love it. I love it. Now, Randy, I want to take a break right now so we can listen to some more of your music. And
Sure.
when you come back, I know you're going to play something really special for us.
Why not?
But we also want to talk about your latest project and you know what's going on there.
Okay.
So we're going to listen to some music, and we'll be right back to talk some more with Randy Moore.
It's called Sunshine State of Mind. Thank you, Glenn. Fall, snowflakes will fall, roads getting icy and slick. Anyone who says they love winter weather has got too much bull on their ship. Me, I'm not hanging around, I'm getting out of town, gonna fly south with the geese. Georgia rides fishing, all your vision, while I take a walk on the beach. Hey, hey, hey. Leaving the world behind. Hey, hey, hey. Bye, 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 bye. I'm in sunshine, state of mind. What is the business? Working my life to death, 95 hours a week. Too much month at the end of the month. There's not enough rum in my drink. My bones are aching to get half naked, plant my butt square in the sand. Hang up the phone, I hear paradise calling, talking vacation land. Hey, 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 hey. Bye, 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 bye. I'll be watching the waves laid up in the shade. Tequila, salt and lime. Hey, hey, hey. Bye, 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 bye. I'm in sunshine, state of mind. Where we can make love by the sea. Admirals, cell phones and clocks. It's time to be free. Everybody say, hey, 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 hey. Let me hear you. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, 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 hey. Bye, 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 bye. We'll be watching the boats, our hearts are floating on a tropical dream by the time. Hey, 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 hey. Bye, 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 bye. I'm in sunshine, state of mind. You know I'm in sunshine, state of mind. Here's a song that's on my new record, and it's been out for a little while, and it's performed real well. A lot of folks really like what it says, and it's called Refuge. It goes like this. If you could see inside my heart, you would find a place where you belong, a place that's safe from all the rain, from all the pain that's done you harm. I'll be your refuge from the storm. sailing smooth. I hope and pray this perfect day will stay, but if it all goes wrong, I'll be your refuge from the storm. I can't stop the wind from blowing. I can't stop the rain from falling. All I can be is your true friend. When that old blue northern comes blowing in, a harbor safe, selfish shore. When bows break, sails are torn, I'll be your refuge from the storm. I can't be the stars that guide you. I can't be the wind that drives you. So chart your course while skies are clear. Set your sails high and have no fear. But if clouds break, sails are set, there's a place you can call home. I'll be your refuge from the storm. I'll be your refuge from the storm. Thank you. He hit the highway at 17, fool's gold and elusive dreams. Looking back, the years have left him stone. He never liked it in Tennessee, just another place to leave, just another reason to be gone. And every day he talks about going back to Texas, going back to Texas, going home. 'Cause every night he dreams about going back to Texas, packing up what's left of living, taking that good woman with him, back to Texas, back where he belongs. He lost his folks at 55, glory-bound to tears he cried, washed away the youth inside his soul. With his hands on the wrecking ball, he knocked down those prison walls. Nothing's gonna keep him from that road. 'Cause every day he talks about going back to Texas, going back to Texas, going home. underneath those big old Texas skies. Whoa, every day he talks about going back to Texas, going back to Texas, going home. And every night he dreams about going back to Texas, packing up what's left of living, taking that good woman with him back to Texas, back where he belongs. Oh, back where he belongs.
Hello and welcome back to On the Brink, part of It Matters Radio. This is Monica Brinkman. If you're just tuning in, and joining me today is the very talented Mr. Randy Moore. Hi, Randy.
Hey, Monica. Glad to be here. It's a fun show. It's great to finally get to talk to you, and I'm looking forward to the rest of our time here. And actually, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to look forward to the next time that we get to talk and get together too.
Absolutely. I always ask guests if they'd please keep in touch with us, because I have an interview with them, then what's going on with them after that? I want to know.
Yeah. Hey, you look on the television. You go, what? They went to Mars? What? What was I?
I know. I missed it
Mission
all.
to Mars. Hey, Monica's here. I knew you went.
Wouldn't that be terrible? That'd be terrible.
I gave you your start. You wouldn't be in the space program if it wasn't for me. Come on.
You're so funny.
All right. Anyway.
No, Randy's wonderful. He's got a great sense of humor also. Randy, let's talk a little bit about what's going on with you right now in your life. What projects you're involved in, what music's going on.
Well, I mean, we just listened to some stuff from my recent album called Highway 59.
Yes.
And all those songs have either been kind of rolling around in my head or laying around on the floor somewhere waiting to have something done. And I never either had the wherewithal or the inspiration or both to approach that. And about 2.5 years ago or so, I had a lot of changes that happened in my life. And, I basically sat on a couch, talking to an analyst for a while. Mm-hmm. And I just pretty much tore all the fences and all the roads down and just went back to where, things kind of started for me as a happy person and as a person who really needed to kind of look on my insides. Uh-huh. So the wheels had fallen off the wagon, as they say. So I started playing some music of my own too, and it mostly started just with me with my guitar and in my little room, and these songs just started coming out. And normally in the past, I would take songs like this and I would start to sort of try to aim them somewhere, or try to go, well, this would be good for this person, or that. I didn't do that with any of this. I said, you know what? To heck with all that. If I'm going to make these songs up, I'm going to make them up for me. I don't care if anybody likes them. I don't care if anybody hears them. I'm just going to make these up for me. I'm just going to take everything I actually know and have learned for my whole life and just apply it to this and just let it just work. If it doesn't work, what have I lost? Nothing. So I'm sitting there and I'm playing this one song. I started into this one song. It's a song's called Things I Like. Mm-hmm. And it was probably about the third or fourth song I'd been working on just in this group of material that ended up being on the album. And I'm start to sing it, and it's a I like hippies because they smoke dope, all this kind of, and all this started just kind of rolling out. And then the next thing I know, the song is finished. And as soon as it was finished, and I had a little tape recorder on, luckily, and as soon as it was finished, a little thing in my mind said, "You're going to make a record." And I thought, I'm going to make a record. So at that point, I pushed myself to go ahead and make an album. And the album was made under the same sort of, I guess, banner or attitude as writing the songs. I don't care if anybody hears this record. I don't care if anybody likes it. I'm going to make this one because I'm going to make something that I just absolutely love. And 20 years from now, I'll be able to hear it and I'll go, yep, nobody liked it, but by God, I still do. You know, that's
You're
really
wrong. You have people love your music. You're getting great reviews.
Well, here's the thing, though. I did this. All of these things really came from inside. They're all very personal. You know, the only one that's probably not, you know, autobiographical or personal is probably the one about double murder. You know, but you know, we don't need to go there. But what I'm saying is I talked to my friend who I'm actually making another record with now, Norbert Putnam, who's a kind of a famous producer guy.
Yes.
We've been for years.
Yeah.
And I told him about this. I told him about the things like what you've just said. People really love this record. They love these songs. And I've told him, I said, I'm getting this reaction. I said, these are songs that they just came out of me personally. I said, I had no intention of pointing them into the public arena in any sort of way except, okay, here it is. And if you don't like it, okay, whatever. He said, Randy, he said, you know, I worked with Dan Fogelberg for years, and he said most of Dan's best material were things that he personally had that came out of him. They were personal statements. He said, Dan could make up any kind of a song. He was a great person with words and music and everything, but he said when he said something that came straight from him, he said, that's the ones that people really would pick up on. I said, well, I said, then, you know, good. I said, because if I can just keep on a track of knowing myself, he says, absolutely. He said, don't go away from this.
Yeah, because that's who you really are as an entertainer.
Well, I mean, that's what I am as a person too. I mean,
right.
I've done plenty of other stuff, and I've developed, you know, skills along the way and all that kind of stuff and everything. But all of that aside, this turned into sort of, I mean, I tell people this is my first album. I mean, I have recorded things and written things for years. Yeah. But I finally just said, I'm going to make my album just for me, nobody else. And that's what it is. This is my first album.
But you know, Randy, people know that. And a lot of performers don't understand. People can tell when something's true and real coming to them.
Yeah. Sure, I believe that.
Compared to somebody that's just kind of just faking it and trying to get by with it.
Oh, I
Yours
think people
came
know
from who you are. When you sing those words, all of those emotions are within those vocals.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you're right. I do believe people still have the capacity within themselves to know when somebody's just trying to sell them something, or when somebody's trying to give them something that matters. You know.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So I make the record, and it's really has been going well for the last 2 years now.
Yeah.
And along the way, our friend Burt Gagnon, who is he was one of the pioneers of internet radio and indie music radio. He'd played some of my songs on his shows in different capacities in the past. And Burt was coming to the end of his life. And we had gotten back together recently and started just, you know, goofing around. He started playing some of my records, and then all of this stuff happened to him. He got cancer, and it was for real, and it was terminal. And so he and I and Jenny Foley, my lady who does all my promotions and stuff, and really is on top of things for me as well. We had a conversation. And he said, you know, there's only really one thing I regret about this. He said, I don't feel like I'm really going to get to leave anything behind. He said, I've loved doing this independent music so much, and I've shared so much of this stuff, and I said, Burt, and you've helped so many people who would have never got their records played, and people would have never heard this stuff. He said, well, I don't know what it's going to do. He said, I feel like it's just going to go away. And I said, look, let me see if we can do something here. So Jenny and I talked about it, and we proposed an idea to him called Neon Legacy, which basically is a syndicated show that we developed around all of the music that he was already playing over the years. But what we do now is we package it into 1 hour episodes. Yes. And they're syndicated episodes. And I tell the radio stations and the people that are the programmers, I say, think of this as a set of encyclopedias that you're collecting one book at a time. Okay.
Yes.
I said we feature a songwriter, a hit maker. Then we feature independent artists and either artists that are not well known or artists that people have forgotten about, writers and so forth. We give that place basically a stage, and we give independent music still another voice. And I said, and they like the idea. They like the idea because we're exercising everything that we can to make sure that it's a really beautiful show every time.
Oh, it's a great show.
So it's really, and you probably have already seen that it's doing really well. I mean, we're getting somewhere around almost 50 plays a week, around the world in different places, domestically and overseas and stuff. New Zealand, Australia.
It's reaching that far right now. That's I like, because excuse me. Darn allergies. I like the fact that you do have a mix.
Right.
We get to hear some of these songs that maybe people never ever heard before from the past.
That's exactly it. That's it.
And there were some great songs, but you also balance it with, what's new.
Right.
And some things that maybe aren't that new, but they're within people's lifetimes. And what a better balance of music than that.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, for the entire history of music, the composer is really, I mean, let's think of the great composers of classical music and things like that. They were always the centerpiece. It was never about the performers or the people who were basically, basically carrying the hype.
Right.
That's changed so much now that the people who are the composers, on an award show, they trot a couple of guys or a couple of gals out that look like they ought to be working in a hardware store. They give them an award and they send them on their way. You never hear about them again. They might end up writing another 20 songs that end up in the top 10, but you never really know about them.
No, you don't.
Nothing, And when I was a kid growing up, it didn't happen until I started reading album liner notes that I didn't realize that Glenn Campbell didn't write all those songs on those albums. I thought on Galveston and on, Gentle on My Mind, and thought, well, he said, and then I started looking at the album jacks and well, what are these little small names here under the songs, and I realized at that point, well, there's somebody else that's involved in this,
Yes.
And so it's been sort of a, I don't know, maybe in a way it's good a lot of times for most people who are songwriters to not be in the limelight, because most of them are pretty painfully shy,
Yeah.
And, but at the same time, it's brilliant to get to talk to them and get to feature them, because they are painfully shy. And they'll tell these stories, and you can hear the excitement in their voices when they're telling the stories, because that they haven't been inundated with 500 interviews in the last 45 days about their music.
Right, like you, huh, Randy?
Yeah, somebody interviewed the person that sang the song or made the record, but so we're getting to do something with this stuff that is pretty special, as Jenny would say.
Well, we're gonna play your music your show at least once a month, if not more. So folks, look for that. That'll be on Thursdays.
Neon Music Country Legacy.
Yes, and you'll be able to actually listen to what we're talking about here. So that'll be a treat. Absolutely. So, what are your plans now? I know that takes up a lot of time, the show and everything. But do you have any tours coming up, or any gigs you're going to be playing? Or
well, this summer, just sort of either by divine planning or ridiculously hip accident, has sort of become the summer where I'm working on a new record. And like I said, the new record that I'm working on is I'm co-producing it with Norbert Putnam, and I've known Norbert for many years, and he is if anybody looks him up on Google, you can see where he is the guy who pretty much produced the Jimmy Buffett sound and Margaritaville and all that, and Dan Fogelberg. He recorded Joan Baez. He made her into a million-selling record artist. Before that, she was a giant in folk, but she wasn't selling that many records. And he came along and made an album on her, and her record career exploded at that point. So he's a brilliant guy in the studio, and he's a very intuitive guy. And he's also somebody that I get along with quite well, as far as like he's very peaceful. Let me just put it that way. He has a real peaceful personality, and I find that him and I have a good sort of an energy that goes pretty well together,
That's hard to find, really. It is with any other person.
So we're making this record now, and we've got 7 tracks that we're going to go ahead and finish up and put on iTunes and on Amazon Music and stuff like that and get behind. We're anticipating that the whole thing is probably going to drop sometime late summer, early fall at the latest. But it's moving right along. I mean, I'm going down to Muscle Shoals. We're recording here in Nashville, and we're recording in Muscle Shoals, where Norbert is from. And I'll be going down to Muscle Shoals on Thursday. We're going to do some horn parts on a couple songs. Jim Spake from Memphis is going to come over and play some saxophone and some clarinet. I've got some guitar work to do on it. We've done so much work on this album already, and it's really come together beyond my expectations. That's
wonderful.
So
you're going to have to come back when you release that, or get ready to release it.
Oh,
so
absolutely.
We can talk some more about that.
Oh yeah, we'll have champagne and the whole deal.
That sounds even better.
It'll be like we won the World Series. So I'm going to play a song now off one of the new songs off the record. This is a song I wrote many, many years ago. There's a lady that lives down in Jackson. She is Carl Perkins' daughter. Her name is Debbie Swift. Mm-hmm. And Carl Perkins is famous for recording Blue Suede Shoes, and he was a very big, influential rock and roll and rockabilly artist. The Beatles recorded songs that he had written. So Debbie and I were writing together, and Carl got ill, and he passed away. Now, we had written a couple of 3 songs with Carl down at his studio, and after he passed away, Debbie did not want to go write any songs anymore. She didn't even want to go down to the studio.
Yeah.
So I called her up and I said, Debbie, you're going to have to go back down to the studio. You have to go back, and you're going to have to start writing songs again. Well, I don't want to. I just don't want to. I don't feel like it. I've just lost it. Losing Daddy, I've just lost it. I said, Debbie, you got to get back on the horse, kid. You can't do this. Your daddy wouldn't want this. And I said, and you know what? I don't want this either. So I went down there, and I told her, I said, do you have an idea? She goes, well, I do have an idea. As a matter of fact, me and Dottie Moore, which is another friend of mine, she said, we sort of were talking about an idea, and so I wrote some words down. I said, let me see it. So she lets me see the words. The name of the idea of the song is called True Love Never Dies. And it's basically all about someone watching over you after they've passed away. They're watching over you. They're looking after you. They're something that you can think of or feel their presence when you're at your lowest points and things like that, because that's the feeling that she always would get when she would think of her dad. This is called True Love Never Dies.
I love it.
I'll always be there, watching over your shoulder. I'll never leave you even when life is over. I'll be the breeze gently touching your face. You'll feel my love in a child's sweet embrace. You'll hear my song each time a bird sings. When you close your eyes, I'll go walking through your dreams. After the rain, I'll paint you a rainbow. You'll find my strength down deep in your soul. Over and over and over again, round and around love goes on without
why true love never dies. I'll be the star shining bright in the darkness, or maybe the stranger who shows you some kindness when your heart is breaking. I'll smile through your tears as love parts the clouds and the sun reappears. Over and over and over again, round and round love goes on without end, forever and ever. I can't tell you why. Oh, over and over and over again, round and around love goes on without end, forever and ever. I can't tell you why true love never dies. True love never dies. My love, your love, true love, honey, it never dies.
Oh, yay! Oh my gosh, I think she wrote that for me. I swear, because I have had quite a few deaths this year, and
You've got somebody looking over your shoulder.
yes, and I think that's a beautiful song. I would buy that song in a heartbeat.
All right.
I
I'll make
mean,
a deal.
how
make a deal.
it's a nice song. It gives comfort to people also.
Yeah.
And there's so
It's a-
many. I mean, I don't care if it's a pet that's passed away or a friend or a relative. If you love somebody, it's nice to hear something like that.
Well, when I sing it, I think of old Carl too. I think if I can see his smile. So he had a great big smile. He wore glasses, and they were pretty thick. He couldn't see very well. And boy, when he would get excited, he'd open his eyes. They looked like they were like 3 miles wide. Carl had the biggest smile. He loved to laugh. He was one of a kind. He was a great guy too. Loved him dearly.
See, and you're carrying that on. You're carrying Carl on.
Well,
You
good.
So I think it's a wonderful thing you're doing it. Well, tell everybody when they can catch your shows, your
Well,
music shows.
I
The
play
Neon
here in
Legend.
Nashville. I play here in Nashville quite a bit. I'm usually at a place called Margaritaville every Sunday around noon, and you come in there and hear me play. I've got a band. Sometimes we play from time to time, but the best way to figure out where I'm going to be is just look at the website. We've got our shows posted on our website. It's www.highway59records.com. It's highway59records.com. And you can just look under the shows and stuff like that. You can look at the videos too. We've got a few videos to our songs that we have on our album, and the bio stuff, and then you can see all the other stuff. So
Oh yeah, it's a great website. How about your radio show? When can they catch that?
gosh, it's so many
How
different
about just
times. You kind of have to go to the Facebook page. There's a
okay?
couple Facebook pages you can go to find out where it's playing. One is the Facebook page that's named after the show. It's Neon Music Country Legacy. The other one is Randy Moore Music,
Okay.
or Friends of Randy Moore. All of that is on
So
on
all of
Facebook.
those they can find.
So
Okay.
they can find out the schedule and where it's playing and what time. Now sometimes they're going to have to maybe figure out what time matches up with what time that they can catch it if it's on the internet, because some of these things are getting played in New Zealand and Australia.
Yeah.
And it could be 3 a.m. in the morning over here.
Yeah,
Or
you never
it could be 4
know.
in the afternoon. I don't know. Just depends.
Hey, a lot of people are up that time.
They never know. So I have.
You did that so well and with such ease to just pick up that guitar and sing that song so well. You know,
Well, I think you should be able to relax when you listen to music. I don't think it
Well,
should be.
to me, talent is pure vocals, pure instrumentals. It's
Yeah,
it's not something that's fake.
I have a whole different interpretation of talent. I mean, uh, for me, or being around people, for me, talent is something that it's almost another word for instinctive desire. You have an instinctive desire to do something that's within you, and if you use that, then that'll drive you to doing what people would term or would define as talent, which is playing well, singing well, performing well. But Monica, all of those really are more like refined skills. But it does start with that instinctive desire, which is talent, I suppose, is what you'd call it. You know, I say everybody has something that they have an instinctive desire to
Yeah.
do. You know, so it's my instinctive desire is to paint. I love to paint pictures and stuff and everything.
Oh,
I
I
did
do too.
this. I did this because it just happened to be something else that was it happened to be
Yeah.
something else that was easy. I don't like to do anything that's hard.
Oh, it's easy for you maybe, but it's not so easy. But you do it with finesse and you do it so well. Randy, I want to thank you so much. But first, I want to find out, should they go to the website if they want to purchase any of your music, or would you prefer them to go other avenues?
They can go to the Highway 59 Records because the iTunes, they can click through the iTunes on there and download it. Or if they want
Okay.
to order a copy, we have actual CDs of that. This next album, we're not really going to print anything up, probably until we maybe collected a few more songs. It's not really a good idea to print up hard copies of something that you only have maybe really 7 really great songs that you want to do. So we're going to wait on that. But
Yeah.
they'll download that stuff as soon as it's released. So I just feel like that's better because it'll help me get the material out sooner, and I don't have to wait on somebody to for me to have to go back and forth. I mean, if you've ever arranged an album or any of that kind of stuff, I mean, it's down to like every little thing that's spelled wrong and the way the picture is and how this, I mean, everything is just like, oh, please, no, I don't want to go through this again. So it's go and
It's
drop the
like
thing.
editing a book.
That's exactly what it is. It's editing
It is torture.
because it's like you can read the same page 20 times and you'll still miss some misspelling.
Yeah,
And
you
and
do.
somebody will come along and say, you misspelled the word Jim. Did?
I,
Yeah. It's not GIM, it's JIM. Oh, I didn't see that. I'm glad you pointed that. Stuff like that, simple junk.
no, it's so true. There's so much
So,
like that. You're so
anyway,
right.
so we're going to it'll be dropped to iTunes, the new stuff, and the stuff on the album that we have, which is
Okay.
called Highway 59, is already on iTunes. It's been there as long as the album has been released, which is in
Fantastic. Well,
October.
folks, check out Highway 59. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Randy, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your very busy schedule, like 3 times already.
It's my
But you
pleasure.
finally made it here, and
My
I
pleasure.
thank you so much. And we're going to keep in touch and find out what's going on with that new project. But for now, we're going to say goodbye, and we're going to listen to one more bit of music from Randy Moore. Thanks, Randy. You take care.
Thanks.
This is a song called When a Woman Gets the Blues. Now, folks, I don't want anyone to assume that I know what women are thinking, okay? So I'm just going to sing this song, and y'all figure it out for yourself. Especially the junior group. What is she all about? When the tears come out, one thing without a doubt, she can't help it when she cries. When it gets serious, don't get delirious. Might be mysterious, but don't ask her why. rejected and confused. She needs a whole lot of tenderness when a woman gets the blue. When a woman gets the blue. All her complexity adds to the ecstasy. A woman's intensity is deeper than an ocean. But when the well runs dry, rain's gonna fall inside. She can't run and hide from those crazy emotions. Mama told her there'd be days like this, feeling dejected and confused. She needs a whole lot of tenderness when a woman gets the blues. When a woman gets the blues. That's my good buddy Judy Rodman on that piano. Don't try to understand, your logic won't fly. Just take her in your arms and let her know it's gonna be alright. Be alright. Gonna be alright. Gonna be alright. Mama told her there'd be days like this, feeling rejected and confused. She needs a whole lot of tenderness when a woman gets the blue. When a woman gets the blue. When a woman gets the blue.